And Happy New Year. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Morning Pitt here on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. Our first Morning Pitt of 2023. And we're here on a Monday. Hope you had a great New Year's weekend. Hope you had a happy and safe New Year's Eve and enjoyed the day yesterday. Watched lots of football, enjoyed lots of sports, and sat there enjoying the fact that your Pitt Panthers won everything they could win on Friday. Of course, we've got a lot to talk about on that front today on the Morning Pitt on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I put that little subscribe link. It's right down there. We got a lot of good video content on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. You don't want to miss any of it. And so you want to make sure that you catch everything we put out, our daily Morning Pitt videos, our live streams that we do every Wednesday night. We go live at 8:30 to talk about Pitt sports. We do post-game shows. After all the football games, we'll do some after the basketball games. Had a really lively post-game show after the Sun Bowl on Friday. That was a fun one. We had a lot going on that show. But it's always a good time to get in on the live stream conversations. You want to make sure you don't miss any of our live streams. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. Turn on your notifications, and you'll get an alert sent to your phone so you never miss anything that we do. If we start doing some basketball post-game shows, you'll know about it because you'll get a notification sent to your phone. So click the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Like this video as well while you're here, and then swing over and check out Panther-Lair.com, Panther-Lair.com, Pittsburgh.rivals.com. The most comprehensive source of Pitt sports news on the internet, football, basketball, and recruiting, all at Panther-Lair.com, Pittsburgh.rivals.com, where we also have message boards, and they've been very active over the last few days because we're in a unique situation right here, Pitt fans. You don't often find yourself in the position you're currently in, where you really don't have anything to complain about. Now, there are those among us who will find something to complain about. There's always something to complain about. But when it really comes down to it, at this particular moment, Pitt fans, on this particular day, January 2nd, 2023, and this applied to January 1st, 2023, and it applied to December 31st, 2022, and it's going to apply tomorrow unless something bad happens, and maybe I'm jinxing it by talking about it in these terms. But it's going to apply to January 3rd, 2023 as well. You're going to have the end of the day on the 30th, but full days, 31st, 1st, 2nd, and most of the day on the 3rd. You're talking about pretty much 4 full days, plus the end of the day, the final 6 hours or so of a 5th day, where everything was in your favor. Fortune was smiling upon you, and you really had nothing to complain about because your football team and your men's basketball team went out and both beat ranked opponents on the same day. And both in games where they were not picked to win, where they were underdogs and widely considered to be likely to lose for a variety of reasons. In one case, facing a very talented team with one of the biggest brands in the sport, a team that was preseason number 1. And then in the other case, facing again a very talented team, a top 20 ranked team, a 9-win team, who had most of their personnel available while you yourself did not. And in both cases, Pitt emerged victorious. And in both cases, I think emerged victorious in uniquely convincing fashion. Well, there's not a lot of convincing. You're not going to say it was a dominant win when you needed to score a touchdown or kick a field goal, a 47-yard field goal in the final 30 seconds, drive for a 47-yard field goal in the final 30 seconds. You're not going to say that was a dominating victory. But it was a game where Pitt fell behind. They looked like they were not in the same, that they shouldn't be on the same field. They looked like they were very close to getting run off the field. And then due to a few fortuitous bounces, due to, if you even want to call it a couple lucky tips, they were able to make a couple plays, keep themselves in the game, keep the score from getting too far out of hand, and slowly claw their way back in with heroic performances from a kicker, heroic performance from a quarterback, heroic performance from a bunch of defensive players who maybe weren't supposed to be the guys contributing to a bowl game victory. But it all came together. And, I talked a lot about this on the post-game show. Talked a lot about it, this weekend, certainly, tweeted about it and posted about it. And I don't think it can be really, I don't think it can be overstated. The scramble by Nick Patty on the final drive, He completes a 18-yard pass to Jared Wayne, a 17-yard pass to Bub Means, and he gets the ball. They have a first down. They clock it, and they're at the no, they don't clock it. They get a first down at the 20, right? 34 seconds. They start at their 25. 18-yard pass to Jared Wayne, moves it to the 43. 17-yard pass to Bub Means, moves it to the UCLA 40. And there's 20 seconds to go. Nick Patty takes the snap. He drops back. He moves to his right a little bit. He keeps looking around. And at some point, a little voice inside his head says, you got to tuck it and run. And there were other options on this play. You throw the ball away. You throw the ball out of bounds. You stop the clock. You live another day. You got, another, probably 15 seconds, somewhere around there, to run another play, 2nd and 10 from the 40. And that was an option. Maybe the best option. Maybe the safest option. But Nick Patty, who has sat behind Kenny Pickett for 4 years, who sat behind Keaton Slovis this year, who more or less delivered any time he was called upon to do so, whether it was throwing a touchdown pass in the UCF game in 2019, managing a victory against Delaware the game after that, rushing for 2 goal line touchdowns against Florida State in 2020, making a valiant effort for 2 drives against Michigan State in the Peach Bowl. Nick Patty drops back, moves to his right, knows the situation of the game, knows the time is running down, knows the yard they need to reach to give Ben Sauls a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. And he knows where the time is, and he knows they don't have any timeouts. He pulls the ball down, and he runs. The nerve it took, the guts it took to make the decision to tuck the ball and run in that situation. I mean, if he doesn't get it, look, the reality is Nick Patty had to know. Once he tucked the ball, when he crossed the line of scrimmage, it's first down or bust. And if he doesn't get the first down, Ben Sauls is maybe trying like a 57-yard field goal. So, that play was at the 40. He had contact a few yards after he crossed the line of scrimmage. If he goes down after just picking up 3 yards, they're kicking from the 37, which is probably like a 55-yard field goal. Because at that point, the clock is running. Patty could spike it, on 2nd and 7. So it's 3rd and 7. And Sauls is coming out with 10 seconds or less to try a 55-yard field goal to win the game. Now, you say to me, what's the difference? A 47 and a 55, that's only an 8-yard difference. Ben Sauls has the leg. He had the 54-yard kick at Virginia. It was the only one of his final 16 field goals that he attempted this season, the only one of those final 16 that he missed, and that was a 54-yarder that went off the upright. So it had the leg, so he can make a 55-yard kick. But you're putting a lot of pressure on it. You're putting it in a really difficult situation if you don't get that first down. When Nick Patty pulls the ball and decides to run, he has to be thinking, I either get a first down or we lose this game. And he takes contact, but as Gary Danielson pointed out, he keeps his balance and he keeps going. And probably my favorite part of the run is as he keeps his balance and realizes he's going to be able to keep running after he took the contact, you see him look to his right, and he's looking for that lead stick to make sure he gets past it so the clock stops until they can reset the ball. And he gets past it, runs for 12 yards on 1st and 10, gets to the 28 or so. I guess they were at the 29, so I guess he got to the 29. So it was an 11-yard scramble. But he gets the first down, 11 seconds, ball snapped, he spikes it, 10 seconds, Ben Sauls, hero of the game, one of the heroes of the game, along with Nick Patty, Rodney Hammond, Tyler Wiltz, Bengali Kamara, Javon McIntyre, MJ Devonshire, David Green, Deion Hayes, Bub Means, Kanate Mumfield, Jared Wayne. Jared Wayne, after such a spectacular season, really didn't have that great of a game throughout the day on Friday, but made a huge 18-yard catch on the first play of that final drive. Bub Means, I think has been inconsistent this season, but had himself a game in that one. Kanate Mumfield finishes the leading receiver, 7 or 8 catches, 80 yards. One of his best games of the season. It was an inspiring performance. And look, Pitt's bowl history, not a lot of inspiring performances. They, coming into this game, I think they were 3-7 in their previous 10 bowl games. Not a lot of wins. Narduzzi had one win. Pat Narduzzi beat Eastern Michigan in the 2019 Detroit Bowl, and it took until the final minute for him to even pull that one off. Not a lot of inspiring bowl performances in Pitt football history, or recent Pitt football history. But this one more than made up for the Military Bowl and the Pinstripe Bowl and the last Sun Bowl and the Peach Bowl. This one made up for it because it was an epic win, a thrilling win. I think it was a legendary win, the kind of win that's going to birth a few legends. Nick Patty and Ben Sauls for sure. And he gets them to 9 wins. And I don't think the importance of that can be overstated either. I mean, I think it's really, I do think it's important that they get to 9 wins. I think finishing 9-4 as opposed to 8-5, I think there's a wide gap there. There's a gap between 9 wins and 10 wins for sure. But 9 and 8, it just feels different. It feels like you accomplished more by winning 9 games than if you only win 8 games. 9-4, 8-5, that's the difference of 1 win, 1 loss. It's not that big of a difference. And yet it feels different. And then you put it on top, as most people have. You kind of add it in with last season's record of winning 11 games. You get 20 wins over 2 seasons. That's not easy to do. That's a lot of winning. That's a lot of success. And almost to the point where, no matter how frustrated you might be and probably should be about the Georgia Tech game and the Louisville game. I mean, those are the 2 I think that you would circle. And they had a chance to beat Tennessee. They had a chance to beat North Carolina. More of a chance against Tennessee. Obviously, the game goes to overtime. But the Georgia Tech and Louisville games are the ones that should stick in your craw. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that should frustrate you the most, and rightfully so. But even with that, and I don't think you have to drop that frustration. I don't think you have to... this doesn't overshadow that or cancel those games out. But I do think when you take a look at the whole picture, the net, positive or negative, the net gain or loss from 2022 Pitt football, it's a net gain. Because they finished 9-4. They're going to finish in the top 25 of the AP rankings. I'll be shocked if they don't. Well, that's a good place to be. Did you fall short of your expectations fresh off the ACC championship? Absolutely. Sure did. And I think every player in that team, every coach on that team would tell you that. They tell you that they expected better than they got this season. They expected better from themselves this season. And rightfully so. They should have won the Coastal and gone to Charlotte to take on Clemson. That should have happened. And it didn't. And the fact that it didn't is a disappointment and an underachieving performance. But to rally like they did, to win 5 games in a row, their second season with a 5-game winning streak, which they hadn't had a single 5-game winning streak since 2009. Now they've done it in back-to-back years. They did it, they won 5 in a row last year to end the regular season and the ACC championship game. And then they won 5 in a row here, winning all 4 games in November and then capping it with a win in the Sun Bowl. I think on the whole, it's a net positive for this program and a net gain for this program. 2022 was a net good year for Pitt football. And sure, there are some losses that, should bug you. And they should bug Pat Narduzzi, and he should be asking questions about how and why they happened. And I don't think it's as easy as just saying Keaton Slovis. I don't think you can just answer all the questions Keaton Slovis and get away with it and walk away and not worry about it. I think there are bigger questions to answer, and we'll talk about those throughout this offseason, I'm sure. But as you sit here right now, it's Monday, it's 4 days since the Sun Bowl, you got to feel pretty good about things. You don't have a lot to complain about. I believe in your ability to find something to complain about, but I don't think you have a whole lot because that was a pretty good finish to the 2022 season. And then, obviously that came on the heels of a heck of a finish to the 2022 calendar year for your Pitt men's basketball program. North Carolina at home. Pitt's down 6 at halftime, and they end up winning 76-74. Heroic performance. Jamarius Burton was awesome in this game. No question about it. 14 of 17 from the floor, 31 points, 6 rebounds. He had 5 turnovers, but you score 31, you had a really good game. And those 5 turnovers, Pitt only had 8 total. Talk about a huge piece of the puzzle here for this Pitt team that is slowly, showing itself to have more strengths than weaknesses. But one of those weaknesses that has cropped up, or creeped up throughout the season has been turnovers. Well, look at this. Their biggest win of the year yet, and they do it with only 8 turnovers. I don't think that's a coincidence. Nelly Cummings only had 1 turnover. He only scored 9 points, but he shot 4 of 9 from the floor, made a 3-pointer, and had 7 assists. You take that performance all the time. If Nelly Cummings is only going to score 9, you take it if it comes with 7 assists. Blake Hinson, not his best day. He scored 16, but he took 14 field goal attempts, went 4 of 14 from the floor. I'll take it with Hinson. Hinson has done enough this season that if he has that off night, I'll take it. You know what I mean? And I think you will too. He went 3 of 10 from 3. Pitt as a whole was 5 of 25 from 3, and a big part of it was Hinson not shooting well. I mean, nobody really shot the 3 all that well. I thought they would do better against Carolina from outside than they did. But Hinson obviously is a big part of that. But he's a big part of the success they've had so far. And I think if you ask Jeff Capel, he's going to say, I want Blake Hinson to keep shooting. Because he should keep shooting, because he's going to continue to be a big part of this team and the success that they have. You've got a big 3 right now of Cummings, Burton, and Hinson. And we'll probably talk about this more as the season goes on, maybe even more this week. But I mean, those are the 3 guys you want doing the things right now. You know what I mean? With the ball in their hands, taking the shots, and making the plays. And you look at that game, they combined for like 40 shots. Out of Pitt's 63, 40 of them came from those 3 guys. 17 from Burton, 14 from Hinson, 9 from Cummings. That's what you want. You want Greg Elliott shooting from outside. You want Nike Sabandi making plays. You'd like Federico to make, get a couple shots from, close to the basket. But you ultimately want the ball in the hands of 11, 2, and 0. Those are the guys who need to make plays for this team. And, part of that is that some nights they're going to have shots that don't fall. You know what I mean? So you're going to get a 4 of 14 night from Blake Hinson every now and then. If you can offset it with a 14 of 17 night from Jamarius Burton, that looks pretty good too. But this Pitt team, I mean, they just keep building. You know what I mean? I feel like they just keep getting better. I felt like they got better in the Syracuse game, and I think they got better in this game. And, after that loss to Vanderbilt, they had to sort of refocus and recenter themselves. And they got 2 non-conference games to do it, and they just absolutely crushed Sacred Heart in North Florida. Looked like a team that understood what it needed to do better and got the message. And then they go up, pair of 2-point wins in ACC play to get to 3-0 in the conference. And now coming up, they get another test. Tuesday night, tomorrow night, Peterson Event Center, 9 o'clock tip-off, Virginia. Now, that's not going to be an easy one. I mean, Virginia is good as always. I think that program has earned a fair amount of reliability they've demonstrated a fair amount of reliability and consistency, and they've earned all the respect that they get. That's going to be another challenge, but you know what? It used to be like the last couple of years you would look forward to those sort of weaker spots on the schedule. Be like, well, at least they got whoever, Georgia Tech coming in or something like that. I'm like interested to see how this team does against the better competition. I think they faced some of it with Carolina on Friday. There are other teams in the ACC that are going to be challenges for them. This Virginia team is certainly going to be one of them, and I'm excited to see how Pitt does, because I think they've got some real momentum going here. They've got some confidence. They understand how to play together. They're playing together really well, and they've got this, like I say, this 3-headed monster of guys who you can count on to make plays for you. You know what I mean? You can count on Nelly Cummings to make plays. You can count on Jamarius Burton to make plays. You can count on Blake Hinson to make plays, because they've done it pretty much once they settled in. And it took a few games for it to happen. Well, once they settled in, they've been really on point. Really on point. And it's fun to watch. I keep coming back to that word. From the Tennessee Martin game all the way through pretty much since then. Since they really got rolling, I just keep using that word fun. It's a fun team to watch. They play some fun basketball. They look like they're having fun on the court. They have a lot of energy out there, and it's fun to watch. Of course, it's more fun to watch when they're winning, but they're winning they win when they do those things well. And when they do those things well, it's fun to watch. So it all just kind of melds together. But we'll see what happens against Virginia tomorrow night. It's going to be another challenge. But I like I say, I'm looking forward to seeing this Pitt basketball team play in challenging games because they've proven themselves to be up to the task, for the most part this season. After that early stretch where I think it was taking them some time to get used to playing together, they've shown themselves to be up to the task. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll have a lot more to talk about Pitt, Virginia tomorrow. We'll have a lot more to talk about this Sun Bowl performance and Nick Patty and all these things tomorrow on the Morning Pitt and really throughout the week because, even though the football season is over, we're going to have a lot to talk about right here on the Morning Pitt every day, Monday through Friday on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then after you do that and after you watch this video, go check out Panther-Lair.com, Pittsburgh.rivals.com. It's the most comprehensive source of Pitt sports news on the internet, football, basketball, and recruiting. And I hope you go check it out, Panther-Lair.com, and join them. I think the best online community of Pitt fans that you're going to find on the message boards, Panther-Lair.com. So thanks again for checking it out. I hope you had a great weekend. I think you probably did because Friday went as well as it possibly could. And I have to think that probably gave you a pretty good feeling throughout the weekend. And I imagine you're carrying it here into 2023. 2022 probably could not have ended on a better note than it did for Pitt athletics. And I think that created some good vibes heading into 2023. So hopefully you're still enjoying it. But thanks again. We really appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have a great Monday. Get back into the grind. And we'll talk to you Tuesday morning for the Morning Pitt right here on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com.